Hey y'all, did y'all watch the reunion from Love is Blind? It was spicy. These are some of the thoughts that I had put on my Facebook, but I wanted to elaborate on them now that we've seen the reunion. I still stand by my thoughts, and I really just want to discuss AD and Clay because I feel like we got enough of everybody else last night, even though I would have loved to hear more about Chelsea and Jimmy. So I might touch on them at the end, and Brittany and Kenneth. I really want y'all to stop calling AD desperate because it never gave that. It gave a woman that fell in love, committed to the process, and gave him a chance. It bothers me seeing women talk down on other women on matters of the heart. She tried, and she shouldn't be ashamed for that. Some women have invested more time for less. It's just on TV. She stayed true to herself. She was vulnerable, authentic. That's why she's a fan favorite. Y'all talked about this woman's hair, lashes, her body. She can't be in shape or fine because Clay only likes her for her body. Like, why can't she just be into fitness or a healthy lifestyle for herself? She needs to do a side part. She doesn't want to. I mean, y'all have thrown everything out at her. Stop, freeze frame, put her on here, call her out for her lashes. Leave that woman alone. It's just so much, and I see other black women bashing her, and it's really heartbreaking. So many people have projected their own insecurities onto this woman. It's ridiculous. Additionally, I love how her mom was represented on the show. Nothing like a mother's love. She had her daughter's back no matter what, and it was refreshing to see the dynamic. I don't think I've been able to relate to another parent relationship on the show. Seeing AD get picked apart because of what she looked like really bothered me, and it was disheartening because it was from black women. And I follow a lot of black women, so my feed shows a lot of that, and literally everybody was always talking about like the lashes are too much. He only likes her for her body. Like, it's so unfortunate that people can't have a nice body and then that is all that you see of them. Like, oh, he doesn't see anything else outside of her being authentic, her making him a better person, her standing up for what's right and calling out people when they're wrong. Yet, only thing y'all saw was him liking her for her body. Now, did he over sexualize? Maybe. Okay, body, when she was coming down the aisle, but she played into it a lot. Like, you see the material, and maybe that's just their banter. I'm not here to judge that, but I don't think Clay was in love with her for her body. AD is a beautiful woman. She represented herself well, and it's so unfortunate that we always want to find a reason why somebody has to love you. Why can't you just love her for her? Second thing, I saw how y'all interacted at the reunion, AD. And I know you care for that man, okay? And I know he cares for you deeply. And I saw another interview that you did on Extra TV, and she talked about how she was embarrassed. And I'm sure it was embarrassing, but please don't be embarrassed for us, okay? The watchers, the viewers, the fans, okay? Because these people will tell you, like, it can't be me. And they be in relationships for like 8-10 years with no commitment, no ring. Okay, multiple children, y'all playing house, and they go tell you, oh girl, I wouldn't put up with it. AD, baby girl, do what you need to do for you, okay? We can't be in a relationship. I don't know the connection and the chemistry that you feel with this man. I can see it, or at least what I think I see on the small clips that they show on Netflix, but you really have a relationship with him. So I'm just saying, please don't be embarrassed for the people out here. Please don't, because they have settled for less. Now, I'm also encouraging you to stand on business. When a man makes a decision, okay, he got to live with the consequences of his decisions. But I do feel like Clay has grown and matured, and I never bash Clay. Let's get into Clay. I know it's easy to talk about Clay, but in my experience, most men are like this. Past trauma, brokenness, hurt, and confused. And they become successful, and they think that equates to being a good man, and it doesn't. He said something about not understanding AD's finances, and I do think this was something he needed more time on. He didn't say he didn't want to marry her. He just said he couldn't at the moment. So on TikTok, they were saying that if they didn't go down the aisle, they would have to pay $50,000 to $60,000. And Marshall kind of confirmed that from season 4. He spoke on this and said that he was offered an out. So I think that AD and Clay had to go to the altar. The Altar, excuse me. It's TV, so they have to keep us entertained, and it's unfortunate because it was at the expense of AD's heart. Now, Clay knew he wasn't ready before he got on the show, and that is my issue. He's used to wasting women's time. This man is traumatized from going with his father to cheat on his mother, a woman that he loved, and then he had to keep it from her. What a heavy weight to carry as a kid. His daddy really should be ashamed of himself, but Clay knew that he needed therapy and seemed like he was at a point in his life where he really wanted change. And I think that he truly seeks commitment, but has no idea on how to give and get it. He said AD was perfect, but still couldn't pull the trigger. He was willing to sabotage his relationship because of things he's still not willing to deal with. It holds them back, and it makes men like Clay miss out on beautiful opportunities. They are fearful and rather stay in chaos. It keeps them stuck and single. In my experience, when they get help, it's usually too late. So we will see if they reconnect at the reunion. Now, mind you, I wrote this before, but I could truly see the growth in Clay at the reunion. And I really think that he did the work. I know he has a lot of work that he still needs to do, but he's willing and able. And I think that's the start of truly healing and making a difference. I could see it when he would talk to AD throughout the season, and he would say, like, I just don't want to cheat. I know I need therapy. Like, I feel like he's like, what do I need to do to start? And I really think at the reunion, he conceptualized that very well by saying, I wanted to show up as a good person. He got very tearful there. And he said, I wanted to be a good husband because he's never had a role model or a mentor to show him this is how you show up in a marriage. I don't know what is not reading or like correlating or why he's getting so much slack for that, because he was just so vulnerable and it was just so raw. Because maybe because I'm in it, I date black men, that's my preference, and I see this all the time, not to the extent of AD and Clay, but where it's like I want to become better, I don't know what to do, so I do these things to sabotage things around me. And to see this play out in 4K and for him to be so open to talk about his black business, I just think that is outstanding. Because, black people, we don't like to talk about our business. When you go to a funeral and you seeing people on an obituary you ain't never seen before and they got all these other kids that you ain't know about, we keep things deep down and buried. And everybody want to talk about breaking generational curses but don't want to do the work to do it. And Clay is doing it. That's all I'm saying. I think he needs more grace, and I really saw it when he was going through the season, and everything was funny when they would come up with the skits and stuff. I'm not saying I didn't laugh, but I did see him really, really trying to get over the threshold. And now that he's in therapy, he had a true apology. He apologized to her parents, her mom, and her family, her sisters, and her, and he came up there and still pleaded his love to her. This is the love of my life. AD gave him the look too when they was asked about Matthew. Girl, I don't know why you went on a date with Matthew, but she definitely was like, can I say this? You care about him. I don't know what's going on, but I just want to say, Clay, thank you for being vulnerable. Thank you for showing a side of men that we see often and where they get stuck out. I really, really appreciate you for being honest and being yourself, even though it's not understood by the masses. I think it's a conversation that needs to be continued, and I really appreciate you going on this journey.